Hi, hello, welcome everyone. I know I am 1,000 years late to this, but we are finally doing the father's story in Uncle Neighbor. How exciting! He finally released this a few days ago, so I know I'm a little late, but let's jump into it. Hope you all are doing well and treating yourselves being kind to yourselves. Yeah. This is such a small task. Can't I handle it? Okay, then I'll go handle something else. Alex looking fine as a book. Oh, by the way, if you see a mouse, don't scream. I'll catch it as your Christmas present. Ha, good idea. I'll remember that. See you later. What a worrywart. I'm not a child. There are some books and scraps of paper scattered on the floor and some old furniture in the corner, besides some cardboard boxes. Judging from the style of the furniture, it should have been put here a long time. It shouldn't have been put here for a long time. It should have been here for a long time? It's the first time I've been here, and I didn't think the attic would turn out to be so big. I'll have to check it out sometime. Maybe I'll find something interesting. Alex said that the star is in the top box. Okay, I'll look for it. Is this it? It looks a little beat up, but it works. Did they find her? I got it. Any little fuzzy mice? No! Just after I said that, a glass bead suddenly fell on the floor, startling me. Whoa! Shit! What's wrong? Is it a mouse? It's just a glass bead. The glass bead didn't stop rolling after it fell on the floor, continuing to slowly move towards another corner of the attic, eventually hitting a rectangular object. I looked at the resulting obstacle. It appeared to be a suitcase. Was that really a suitcase? I brought the leather case closer to the window. In the sunlight, I could see it more clearly. This cut and pattern. It would have been a popular style in the 1980s. I seem to remember my father having a suitcase like this. I carefully opened the suitcase, the musk of oiled leather filling my nose. Inside, apart from some old clothes, all that was left was a notebook and an envelope. The notebook looked so worn that even the words on the cover were unreadable, and the envelope only had one letter, C, written on the cover. C. Is that the codename of the recipient? Or maybe it's their name. Forget it, I'll look at this notebook first. Although this notebook is a bit worn, the paper inside is well preserved. I opened the first page of the notebook and saw the sentence written in the margin of the table of consonants. I don't remember when it started, and I don't know if it ended. Maybe one day I will manage to forget you, but remember that I love you. Was this my father's diary? I just thought it was any other notepad. I didn't realize it was my father's diary. As far as I can remember, my father's not in the habit of keeping a diary. Oh my god, MC looking hot! Gru Kraus Kraus. The following will begin with the father's perspective. I'm good at hiding my own emotions, and always face others with a smile. When I meet someone I like, I always become a fool. I've lived alone for several years, visiting other countries. During these years, I was careful about keeping myself hidden. I was afraid that something terrible would happen again. How could I have ever imagined that one day I would record it all, and then maybe one day I will be allowed to forget? I will record my true feelings, the contents of my heart, things I will never tell anyone about. Hopefully when I see this notebook again, I will remember all of this again. Until then, I just want to escape the memories from before, to leave them where they were made. To find a place where no one knows me and start over. Maybe that's what I deserve in the end. One day, I received a letter from a childhood friend, and I knew that my chance had come. Frida helped me a lot. He introduced me to new job opportunities and arranged for me to have a temporary home. I hadn't seen him in years, and he was already married with children, a father and husband. The last time I saw him was a few years ago. What I didn't expect was that his wife was actually the squirrel girl back then. Before that, I was hesitant to stay here, because Frida didn't really know the real me. I was afraid to disappoint him, but then something happened that changed the plan. I still remember, it was my first Christmas Eve here. It was an encounter that made me decide to stay here. It was a warm afternoon in winter. Ooh, Christmas story, let's go. Hello, my name is Carlos. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to record both parts in one video, just to make it easier for you guys. Merry Christmas! Merry Chrysler. Oh my god. Hey, Merry Christmas, but it's Christmas Eve. Another cafe a lot today? Yes. Speaking of which, you've been in this town for over 6 months now, right? Well, yeah. Has it been 6 months? I can't remember. I've never been in the same place for so long. So, are you considering staying? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe I would? I'll take the corner table by the window. Okay. Just after I left the counter, a man with shiny hair and a white shirt walked in, the purple bow tie around his neck standing out. His strong, angular face looked particularly handsome and charming in the afternoon sunlight, and I couldn't help but look twice. Jingle bells. Good afternoon, Mr. Carlos. Are you back already? If it wasn't for my father's request, I wouldn't bother coming back. Haha, maybe because it doesn't snow here in winter. Well, you could say that too. What is with all these bumps? Is this from the shoulder pads? Is that what it is? From their conversation, I learned that the man seemed to be a local, but would often be away on business and unable to return. From the way he was dressed, he seemed to be a relatively wealthy person here. Strangely enough, the winter here is very warm, with the average temperature of about 20 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and the summer is only 35 degrees Celsius. Oh my god, only 101 degrees Fahrenheit? Bestie, that's burning. The climate here is so mild, maybe that's the reason why I can't bring myself to leave. Thinking about it, I couldn't help but look at the man named Carlos, who happened to be looking over at me, catching each other in the act. It seemed rude for a moment, us to stare at each other for a few seconds before looking away, so I pretended to look at the window as if nothing had happened. When I looked back again, he had already left. My heart was suddenly a little heavier, as something was lost. I finished my coffee in one big gulp and got up to go to the front of the counter. Carlos happened to be getting into a black car. The moment the car door closed, his eyes went mine once again. My odd behavior surprised Max as well, as he said with some surprise, "Huh? Why are you drinking so fast? You're not usually like this." I froze for a moment, then came back to my senses and said, I suddenly remembered there are other things that need to be taken care of. Max looked at me and then at the car and just left. Then the corner of his mouth quirked up in an imperceptible smile. Just as I was about to leave, Max spoke. Not smoked. He didn't smoke. He doesn't smoke, probably. I don't know. You need a plan for what you're doing. He's very handsome, just like you. When I heard Max talking about Carlos, I just took my left foot out of the door and back in. I don't know why. My heart started to beat faster, my blood started to swell. Even my speech was a little shaky. It was something I'd been missing, a feeling that hadn't been there for many years. Today is really strange. After I calmed my excitement, I walked to the counter and acted as if nothing was wrong. Carlos, well, that's easy to remember. You don't say about your age, but I hear he's having trouble with his father lately. Conflict between father and son. Supposedly the mayor offered him a new job, but Carlos didn't want it. And then? Are you concerned about it? Is that so? Huh? I was just casually asking. Well, I got ahead of myself. So, he doesn't seem to leave here all the time? Maybe. Maybe. For now, maybe, but as of today, maybe he'll be back more often. Huh? What do you mean? He knows exactly what you mean. Bestie, he likes you. He's into you. He's into that thick pussy. Haha, I've got to get busy. After Max left, I was standing alone in the doorway, staring. I considered leaving after Christmas, but now I have a reason to stay. This was my first encounter with Carlos, so it was only for a few moments. Carlos. Cheer up. We didn't meet again for a long time. Over the winter, I began to consider leaving town again. Perhaps you might ask, why not go to him? I admit, I was a bit timid, mostly because I didn't want to screw it up. So, I didn't have the courage to go to him, although I knew where he lived, but I still put my hope on another chance encounter in the cafe. I heard from Max the cafe that he had a branch of his own in another city, so he might have returned to another city. Although I knew I would meet him again if I was here. I practiced my greeting countless times a day in my apartment for the year, and the first words I would say when I saw him again. Hey, haven't we met somewhere before? Hi there, my name's Kraus. Doesn't that sound familiar? Thanks. You have a nice bow tie. I heard that you and your father are having trouble lately. I don't know if that's what you want to start off with when you're like trying to introduce yourself, you know, like, oh, I heard you and your parents are having troubles recently, you know. You want to discuss that with a complete stranger. After mumbling awkward lines to myself, then putting on my cleanest clothes and coming to the cafe. Just like that. 1 day, 2 days, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Until the next spring was almost over, and I still didn't see him again. Maybe I really thought about it too much. Another long time had passed, and I didn't see Carlos again. so I decided to leave. Although Fred had been supporting me, I decided to go elsewhere to take a break. After all, if I continue like this, I would go crazy. Unless it's already too late. This was a hard choice, but compared to what had happened before, I believe I could push through it. But where will I go if I leave here? Back to my parents? No. They don't need me anymore. And if I force myself back into their lives, it'll be worse, right? They must hate me so much. I know it's stupid to act like this, but I just can't help it. Sorry. I really don't know what to write. I'm a little overwhelmed, and I've started babbling. If I can meet him again, I will definitely take the initiative to talk to him. At least I have to let him know my name, right? I plan to leave here tomorrow afternoon, but before that, I decided to go to the cafe one more time. I ordered my usual favorite coffee and sat in the corner by the window. 1 hour, 2 hours, until evening. I looked at the time on my watch. I should head back. On the way back, I received a call from Frida, who was preparing a farewell dinner for me. I was very touched by how Frida and her wife had taken care of me for most of the year, yet I hadn't had the chance to return the favor. I was really ashamed. After the dinner, Frida suggested that I stay overnight, wanting to talk to me more. After all, the time we parted and not knowing when we would see each other again. After the dinner, Frida suggested I stay overnight, wanting to talk to me more after all. After all this time we parted, not knowing we would see each other again. Are all the kids asleep? His mom was staying with him tonight, and he's probably still reading bedtime stories. You can sleep with me tonight. Okay. We were in the same dorm. I slept in the bed, and you slept in the bed, remember? Of course I remember. Sorry to disappoint you, Frida. Hey, don't say that. It's nice of you to come to town. You've helped me out before, haven't you? Ah, you remembered. I was always bullied back then, just because I grew up in an orphanage. Everyone looked down on me, and you were the only one who would be my friend. It's been so many years. Remember in high school when you said you were moving the day before you left? We snuck out to a club and hung out all night. Do you remember that? It was really exciting, and I took out all my savings. I almost missed my flight. Haha. How nostalgic were those days? So carefree. After briefly reminiscing about the past and wanting for the atmosphere to lighten up a bit, Frida finally cut to the chase. By the way, what are your plans for going back? I don't know yet. Hey, listen to me. You can't go on like this. I remember you being so careful. Why all of a sudden? What's going on with you these past few years? If you still trust me, you can tell me. Frida's words made me not know how to answer for a moment. If I tell him the truth... Frida... I probably drank too much wine at dinner. My head was a little dizzy. Under the effects of alcohol, I told my secret. Frida, actually, I've always wanted to tell you. Tell me what? What did you want to tell me? I looked around with some apprehension. Frida, aren't you curious why I haven't had a girlfriend? You're not ready? No. Wait, you're not saying... Yes. You're My boy can't get it up, that's why he doesn't get any of that puss. Oh no. Huh? No, what are you thinking? Oh, shoot. Oh no, log. Scroll down. Oh no, guys, I'm so sorry, I messed it up. I think he basically told me he's gay. Oh, okay, we haven't skipped anything. Maybe have a special for men. Nice guy, Frida. Wait, you said you're into men? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Actually, I guess that. Huh? Lilith told me a long time ago. How did your wife know? I asked her too. She's always said, woman's intuition. Huh? I also asked her if you were really interested in men. Then why'd you get so close to me? Do you like me? What? Do I like you? Yeah. Do you really like me? Is that why you're so close to me? I asked Lilith, but she denied it outright. Haha. She's right. She's right. How? Straight men have an innate sense of self-confidence that if a gay man were ever around them, it would be an immediate infatuation. It isn't? Oh my god, Frida, you're a problematic man. No. Come on, everyone has their own tastes, even girls. Aren't we handsome? Throughout my student days, why didn't anyone ask us out? But ever since middle school, we've been very close to their female classmates. Yes, we were good friends. We helped them carry their school bags, bought them breakfast. I realized that this topic made Rita's self-confidence of so many years suddenly disappear. Hey, you're always my friend. Just not like that. Don't think about it too much. Sometimes these straight guys are really weird. That's what I'm saying, though. Suddenly knowing that his best friend likes men and fearing the years of friendship were just employed to get him in bed. First scared and disgusted, but then feeling lost when the other guy makes it clear that he's not interested like that. What a strange creature these heterosexuals are. I looked up at Frida again and then said with great conviction, "You're my best friend. Really? Okay. So you've been distracted every day because you were gay?" Yeah, I suffer from a distraction disease called being gay. I'm ADHD. I'm sorry. Anyway, not everyone is like you and can accept me. There was an incident. I lost my job and I'm afraid to go home. Okay, let's talk about something else. So, do you have a crush? What are your plans for the future? Some pretty hard-hitting stuff there, Frida. I don't know. By the way, I should have told you earlier the town is throwing a big party this weekend. It was suggested by the mayor. What's that? I forgot to tell you, every year our town holds a series of contests with the surrounding towns, and this time our town won first place. Then I won't go. I've already booked my ticket. What a shame. You should go to experience the atmosphere. We have a mass ball, and of course lots of food, and all kinds of fun night markets. I don't really need to. You can, really, think about it. Just this once, okay? I'm begging you. Frida said as he handed a booklet to me from the coffee table next to him. There's a program for the weekend party with some notes, but my eyes didn't even list important people who'd be attending the dance. Carlos? That's the mayor's son. In the past, he would never come to dance like this, but this year he actually RSVP'd. When I saw the name, my heart started to beat faster again. I seemed so lost in thought that I didn't even hear Frida call my name. Kraus, are you okay? Hey, I'm fine. You're thinking about it? I should say, this would be a great opportunity for me and Carlos to get to know each other. I've waited so long. Please come, okay? Okay, I'll be there. I said yes to Frida's invitation with a little bit of acquiescence. But inside, words can't describe it anymore. I just wanted this weekend to come as quickly as possible. I want to see him. But what should I wear then? I simply don't have anything nice to wear. Well, that's decided then. Get some rest. It's late. Okay. I just have to risk it all so that I find Carl's ass, and I appreciate it. Sometimes life is like that. You don't know when you'll suddenly get a surprise. The next few days continue as usual. Work, cafe, home, but I was in a much better mood. The streets also began to change. The stores also began to hang some decorations related to the party. Just in a few days, the town had greatly changed. I can clearly feel the festive atmosphere slowly livening up. Finally, the day has arrived. Are you ready? We're going to the ballroom. I stared in the mirror for a long time before I left the house, and if I saw him, what should I say? Hey Kraus, are you gawking? Sorry, I got sidetracked. Don't flatter yourself. Hurry up, we're gonna miss the opening speech. Got it. Lilith, she's so pretty. Gentlemen, we're going to be late. We have to go now. I'm sorry. I don't remember Tom in the story, so hurry up. It's also been a little while since I played, so I'm not sure if that affects anything. Wait for me. The party was held in the town square where a big stage was set up. We lucked out and found a good viewing spot where we could see the whole stage in full view. As the lights went out around us, the noise of the crowd quieted down, and then the spotlight hit the center of the stage, and a beautiful lady walked on stage. After a simple opening program, the mayor also walked on stage to present a banquet speech. As for the mayor's speech, I didn't even hear it, and I didn't care what he said because my focus wasn't there at all. I kept looking around, hoping to find in the crowd Carlos. I didn't find him until the last banquet program was over. Was he not at the party? It's finally over. The opening ceremony is too long. I'm falling asleep. Can we have some new programs? I wouldn't bother going out if the kids didn't want to come. Every year it's the same old show. It's pretty boring. Unfortunately, it's free time. Lilith and I are going to go to the night market to buy something. I just saw a lot of food from abroad. Do you want to come? I don't know. I think I want to stroll around by myself. Well, you make your own arrangements. See you later. Alligator. In a while. Crocodile. See you later. After looking around in vain, I decided to find a quiet place to rest for a while. I walked through the crowd to a corner garden, which was quiet and had a view of the sea. The dense shrubs and flowers cover the place so tightly that it's hard to find if you're not looking for it on purpose. I sat on the bench and smelled the sea breeze, and thought back on what had happened so far. Did I think my life would be easy? Naive to think it would be like in movies. Sometimes movies aren't as exciting as life. Carlos disappeared behind me without warning. Hello. Hello. Haven't we met there before? I think we've met before? I remember your eyes. Thanks. Why did you just show up? I mean, why are you here too? There were too many people at the party, and I like some peace and quiet. What about you? I'm Carlos, by the way. Nice to meet you, Kraus. Hello, Carlos. Wait, I didn't say my name yet. I'm... Beautiful night scene, isn't it? Yeah, Mr. Carlos. It was so bad. I prepared my topic conversation beforehand, but the sudden meeting made me not know how to talk. We sat in silence, and it seemed the party outside the garden had been cut off from us. The only thing left was the sound of the waves and the occasional whoosh of birds flying into the bushes. And of course, Carlos and I. It seemed awkward to sit in silence like that, so I initiated the conversation. I heard this was your first time attending this kind of party, right? Yeah, the first time, but that's only because everything has been a bit busy. I've been busy with everything. It's okay. Is it a work thing? Yeah, but not really. Oh, I think we met at the cafe, right? I already said that earlier. I remember your eyes. Oh, sorry. I'm a little flustered. Speaking of which, it's been more than a year since we last saw each other. Well, I haven't been around because I took care of some personal things after Christmas. Ah, so that's what it was. I'm sorry. Why? Why are you apologizing? Nothing. The word just came to me. The sound of the waves. We just sat there, as if everything around us had stopped. There's no concept of time at all. It was as if we agreed in advance that no one would feel awkward or uncomfortable. Occasionally we would suddenly look at each other and smile, but not say anything. It was as if we understood what each other was thinking. Was this a first date? Maybe it was just a chance encounter, but I decided it was our first date. After an unknown amount of time, Carlos spoke up. It's getting late. Well, yeah, it is late. Oh, I didn't realize we'd been sitting here for over an hour. That's good. Carlos got up and straightened his clothes. It's good to see you again. Yeah. Carlos stood still for a moment and then turned to leave. He was about to reach the exit of the garden when he turned to me and gave me an awkward salute. Before I knew it, he was gone. Mr. Carlos, will we see each other again? Looks like he's left. Already gone? Although he left, my long-awaited meeting had finally come true. It's just that this time was too short. I still had a lot to say, and I didn't know when the next meeting would be. Just as getting a little lost in my thoughts, Carlos' voice rang out from behind me. Did you forget something? Carlos, I guess we haven't agreed on a time to see each other again, right? Yeah, Then in 2 days, here, at the same time. Yeah, I'll be there. See you later, Mr. Krause. See you later. Whoa, whoa. After Carlos left, I couldn't help but smile and be happy as a child. I swear this was the happiest day of my life. On the way back, I couldn't help but giggle, and even Frida felt a little strange and asked if I'd found some kind of treasure. Treasure? Maybe. Maybe not. You're leaving tomorrow. I'll really miss you. Tomorrow? Yeah, I'm leaving here tomorrow, but now... No, I'm not leaving. Actually, I've been thinking about it, and this place isn't too bad. And I like this party. Really, that's great. I told you you should go to the party like this at least once. Looks like I've made the right decision. Thanks to you, Frida. I'm staying. Great, I'll make you another great dinner tomorrow. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for your hard work, my brother. My bruder. Things went smoothly. Our first meeting, second meeting. Slowly, Carlos and I got to talking more, and our relationship was no longer strange. Although we had been together for a long time, Carlos and I seemed to be restraining ourselves. We just talked, had coffee together, all the usual things that couldn't have been more normal. I enjoyed this time. Even if it was forever, I was already satisfied. I don't quite understand what he's trying to say there. I felt like it was a dream. Part 2. The Secret. Hey, you and Carlos have been getting close lately. Do you have a crush on him? Yeah. No, I don't have a crush on him. He's just a friend. A new friend? What about me? Hey, you're my best buddy. Don't be jealous, okay? Alright. But I'm happy to see that you're happy. At least it's something to look forward to every day, right? Yeah, maybe. Thank you, Frida. But what? You have to think about everything because, you know, in case the other party doesn't feel the way the same. Before Frida could finish the sentence, I immediately interrupted him. I know. It's not that I hadn't thought about what Frida said, but I didn't dare to continue thinking about it. Whether Carlos really just considers me as a friend or not, it doesn't matter anymore. I only care about the immediates. Okay, as long as you're happy. Just remember, if you get in any trouble, just let me know. Alright. Even if you want me to raise a son for you. What? Oh my god. Wait a minute. He did raise a son for him, though. Ah, plot twist! Or, what is it? Premonition? Not premonition. Whatever. Forget it. I don't know if I'll have a kid yet. Phew. Britta's expression suddenly became sad. Why? Remember something we talked about when we went to school together? What? I'll be your best man, and you'll be my best friend, and my children recognize you as their godfather. Do you remember that? Yeah, I remember. But, hey, don't be so pessimistic. By the way, I remember you mentioned before that you wanted to start an orphanage? Yeah. Have you really thought about it? I've been thinking about it for decades. I understand. Maybe plan a little more after all. It's not easy, and it costs a lot of money. I know. I'm sorry, I can't even help you much at the moment. Hey, it's okay. I'm already satisfied, to have you as a friend. Excuse me, Kraus. What? Promise me that no matter what happens, you'll act like you do now, okay? Huh? I will. Don't worry about me. Alright, get some rest. I forgot to mention that I moved into Frida's house, and I took on their chores. Because the previous apartment that I was in was going to be demolished, and because it was too remote, there wasn't anyone willing to buy it or rent it. Finally, the local government bought it, and I heard that a new police station was to be built. To be honest, that place is really remote. Wait, was Tom the detective? I can't remember. Anyway, if the rent was not so cheap, I would have never lived there. Anyway, everything was looking up. It wasn't until another day that Carlos told me something else. He started talking to me about his family. Before that, we'd never discussed such topics, but today the topic suddenly changed, as if it had been discussed in advance. I brought this for you. Carlos pulled out a rose from behind him, as if it was magic. It seemed that this time, Carlos had, broken new ground. I picked it from the garden. Wow, it's beautiful. Thank you. I brought the rose to my nose and smelled it, and then held it gently in my hand. Sorry I didn't get you a gift. It's okay. I like meeting you. About earlier. We've known each other for almost 6 months, right? Yeah, time has gone by so fast. I wanted to tell you about my father. The mayor of the town? It was... I grew up with a very strict tutor. My father had always worked hard to raise me. I don't have any other siblings, so my father put all of his hopes on me. I didn't want to disappoint him. I was really one of the better ones in my age group. While there was something like college tuition, I was already running my own company. That's incredible. I knew college was rich, but I never thought that he was already running his own company while he was in college. But if you have something, you're bound to lose something. I didn't have that much laughter in my childhood, and as far as I can remember. It led me to being aloof and awkward, and I didn't have many friends. I woke up every day just to be scolded by my father. Sometimes I hated him, and I wanted to leave there and find a place where no one knew me and live in seclusion. But, what about your mother? If my mother were still alive, maybe I would have been happier. I'm sorry. Carlos' words made me think again of the past. I was born into a happy house with very traditional parents who had both had stable jobs. I had a good relationship with my family until I went to high school, until one day my father found out about my secret. I was kicked out of the house and started living alone, and from then on, I never heard from them again. I really can't imagine that they changed so quickly. It was as if I was a stranger to them. Sometimes I wonder, was I in the wrong? Or was it right that I shouldn't have been born? And then I figured out that only by myself can I change everything. The current social environment is still too dangerous for me, and I will hide myself until I find a place that really welcomes me. I finished college with my own money, and then I went into the military. I don't know why I chose to go to the military. Maybe that's where I would find myself and made me stronger. Then I made some friends and slowly accumulated some savings and started doing things I hadn't had time to do before. For example, learning how to box, dance, learn how to play music. Although I don't know if I'll have children in the future, but I hope that after I have offspring, I can teach my son these traits. When I think back on all those years, I suddenly admire myself a little bit. How the hell did I get through it? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm listening. You know, when I first saw you, it felt very familiar. Was it that time in the coffee shop? Yeah. By the way, I've been meaning to ask you why I didn't see you for a long time after that. I was dealing with work stuff, so I didn't have time to go back. Really? So, that's it? Carlos seemed to be hiding something from me, and if he didn't want to talk about it, I wouldn't keep asking questions. Maybe it was really just a matter of work that he couldn't disclose. Carlos sat on a bench silent for what felt like forever, seeming to have something to say. Although his expression was only a fleeting one, but I still noticed it. Carlos, are you okay? Carlos seemed to sense that I noticed his torn expression, so he immediately adjusted his smile and turned to me. Hey, I'm fine. It's just a little cold. Yeah, just a little cold. I subconsciously touched the back of his hand. It was indeed a little cold. Just when I wanted to hold his hand in my palm, Carlos suddenly withdrew it. The magnitude of his action was so sudden that I froze on the spot. Did I do something wrong? Or should I not have done it? Suddenly a million thoughts appeared in my mind, making my head explode. My eyes began to glaze over a bit and I couldn't speak for a while. After reconfirming that it was just Carlos who had just withdrawn his hand, I slowly began to adjust my breathing. I didn't want Carlos to see I was hurting. I'm sorry. Let's go back. It's already late. Carlos. Sorry I lost my temper earlier. It's okay. I was the one who crossed the line. Let's go. It's late. Oof. It had been a week since our last meeting. I had a vague feeling that something bad was happening. Perhaps I had guessed some of him. Why did you ask me to come here all of a sudden? How about here? Isn't the view here beautiful? It is. Behind it's the sea, and in front of it's a road in the forest. If you build a house here, it would be very nice, right? It's for you. You want to give me a house? Why? This land, I bought it. It belongs to you now, and the money to build a house is ready. You're joking, right? I'm serious. This land was very hard to get. I had to work very hard to get it. You know, the town plan doesn't allow building houses around the town. Since it's so precious, I can't take it. If you don't want it, then the house will belong to your children. I'm not married yet. It doesn't matter if you adopt or any other way. As long as you're your child, the property here will belong to them. So, you're serious? You think that's the one who likes to joke around? I didn't answer Carlos's remark, but walked alone to the middle of the clearing. Looking at the coastline in the distance, there was a sudden warmth in my heart. I muttered to myself, will I also have a home of my own? Maybe. I turned my head to look at Carlos, who happened to be looking at me too. Will you live here with me? The statement obviously caught Carlos off guard. He flinched for a moment and then tried to say something, but couldn't open his mouth. You'll be a frequent guest then, right? I will. If in the future we're not friends anymore, will you take this piece of land back? Never. Alright, I'll remember that. This gift, for me, it's too precious. I don't know if I'll really settle here in the future, but I know that Carlos is serious. I knew that it was absolutely impossible to refuse the great gift from him. I admit, it was indeed a gift that saved me many years of struggle. At least it was a place to stay and call my own. When I thought about it, a smile appeared on the corner of my mouth. When you smile, it's a yes. Alright, let's go. I made a reservation to a restaurant. Ooh, is that the end? Alright, part 2. So I apologize if this will be a little longer. I just didn't want to break up the parts, you know? I feel like they belong together. Have it all together in one. Hey, you seem to have something on your mind lately. Huh? Do I? Did you have a fight with Carlos? I don't think I've seen you guys together in a long time. Oh, well, maybe he's busy with work. Hey, listen, what if Carlos isn't what you think he is? What I think? What's that? Just don't hide it from me. I know you like him. It's not that. We're just friends. Are you still being childish? Do you think I just met you? Carlos's father's very strict, and he never allowed that to happen. I know. So, you must be mentally prepared. Ah, Frida, don't worry about it. He and I really are just friends. We're not the kind of relationship you think we are. He's giving you a house, and you're still just friends. Then why doesn't he buy me a house? Maybe he'll give you one later. Oh, I want to be friends with someone who'll just randomly give me a house. Like, oh, it's all paid off and everything. You can live in it. No problem. I hope so. I'll tell you, don't come crying to me when the time comes. I warned you. You really treat me like a child, but thank you. Sorry for calling you out so suddenly. Why is that? I wanted to take you somewhere. After saying that, Carlos took my hand and ran towards the car parked at the curb. What? Shh, we have to get out of here. Carlos drove the car down the highway so wildly that I could barely catch my breath. Luckily, it was the middle of the night and the streets were empty of pedestrians. But, it was too dangerous. Hey, what are you doing? Are you crazy? I'm not crazy. What the hell is wrong with you? Carlos didn't say anything. He just drove the car by himself until he drove it out of town. Carlos, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? Run away with me. What? Run away with me. Why are you saying this all of a sudden? I said that I wanted to run away with you. We're gonna be together. Hey, are you in some kind of trouble? You can tell me if you are. Carlos seemed a little impatient. He slammed on the gas pedal and the car suddenly lost control and crashed into a nearby tree. Carlos! Oh my god, not him injuring our MC. Don't like that. Bang. The glass shattered. I subconsciously blocked it with my clothes. The glass fragments did not hurt me. But Carlos wasn't as lucky. His hand was already bleeding. I'm glad the car wasn't going very fast, otherwise the consequences could have been a lot worse. Are you okay? I'm okay. What's wrong with you? You can be honest. It's too dangerous to dance around the truth. We have to go to the hospital. I'm sorry. I took out the hand towel I brought with me and gave Carlos a simple bandage. I'll drive. It's best to go to the hospital and get it fixed up. I'm sorry. Whatever it is, the most important thing right now is that you get your wound treated. Got it. The good thing that this car is still drivable, otherwise it would have been a problem. I drove the car towards a private hospital in the town, and our luck, the old doctor hadn't left yet. After a brief treatment, I took Carlos and we left. But Carlos didn't want to go home, and after much persuasion, I drove the broken down car to the countryside. Suddenly, Carlos seemed to remember something. He hurriedly asked me to drive to some random place. Carlos took out a map from a scrap of newspaper under the seat. Where is this? I'd almost forgot. Listen to me. I followed Carlos's cue and drove toward my destination. About 40 minutes and we were there. Bang. Is it the house? Oh, it's his log cabin. It looks like a newly built house. What's this? I had nothing to do last Christmas, so I bought a piece of land here and fixed it up. But it's such an isolated place. Isolated. Don't worry, there's water and electricity here. Enough for basic living needs. Okay. Carlos walked up to the door of his house and took out a key from inside his bag. The door opened smoothly. So, you've been working on this house since Christmas? Sort of. I just wanted to find a quiet place, to be alone. Well, this place is indeed quiet. Carlos came to the bed and lay down. It seemed like he was so tired that he fell asleep almost immediately. I locked the door behind me and went to bed. Looking at Carlos's handsome face, I felt the desire to kiss him, but I resisted. I found some bedding from a nearby cupboard and I laid it on the couch. Let's hope it doesn't get any worse. How much worse could it get, Bessie? I slept until dawn, probably because I was too tired from yesterday, but I slept very well. When I woke up, it was almost noon and Carlos was no longer in bed. I looked around for Carlos, but I found him outside the door chopping wood with an axe. Yeah, are you really gonna do that with, like, your hand being all busted? Anyway, you're not healed yet. You can't do that. I'm not that delicate. I can do it with one hand. With that, Carlos raised the axe again with one hand and chopped the log, which fell directly to the ground in 2 pieces. Wow, you look so strong. But how do you have so much strength? This is a gentleman, has to be delicate. That was me. I'm sorry. I was in the wrong. There's some things that I've already made breakfast if you want to eat. Thank you. Man, sometimes this translation's kind of like funky, you know? After a brief breakfast, Carlos and I both sat on the couch. He was sipping his coffee and reading a book, and seemed to be oblivious to surroundings. The phonographs played some classical music, and the scene was incredibly reassuring to me. I looked at Carlos's current appearance, and suddenly my heart was grounded. Isn't this the life I wanted? The warm sunlight shone into the room, and Carlos looked amazing. I seemed to be a little lost in thought, which made Carlos a little embarrassed. He nudged me with his toe to bring back my sentences. Do I have something on my face? No. Hey, how long are we going to stay here? I don't know. I don't know. Let's stay for a few days, at least until my arm heals. I don't want to go back and be yelled at by my father again. Okay, but aren't you afraid that your father is looking for you? Usually he doesn't care about me unless there's something important, and if there is, he'll just call me. Okay, right. I'll call Frida first. They'll be worried if I don't go back tonight. No, I already told him this morning. Okay. That's when I noticed how thick Carlos was. He's wearing shorts and a shirt, and with his handsome face, my heart was racing wildly. I can't keep staring at him. I have to avert my eyes or I'll be rude. I'm a little sleepy. But you just slept, like... For like... yeah, I get that, though. If you're sleepy, go rest and sleep on the bed. I'll do the same if you want. But you slept on the couch last night. That's because your arm is injured and I didn't want to disturb you in your sleep. Then you'll sleep on the couch tonight as well? Yeah, I will, Mr. Okay. Okay, you rest. Yes, Carlos. Oh, damn. Why are they both packing? Oh my god, like father, like son with the socks. Carlos turned his head to me with a pursed smile and continued to look at his book, ignoring me. It's a lot more comfortable to lie in bed. Comfortable. The bed wasn't too far from the sofa, and I could still smell the faint perfume of his body. I I would occasionally sneak a peek at Carlos, watching him read intently. I couldn't help but have some fantasies. I enjoyed this kind of time, but I didn't know how long it would last. In a daze, I heard Carlos shouting, and I opened my eyelids to see that Carlos had already made a table full of food. It looks so delicious. I was going to let you rest a little more, but I'm just so hungry. So get up so we can eat. Alright. You sleep very well. You slept all day long. Maybe I've just been really tired recently. Obviously, you're just lazy. I know. I don't dislike you. It's just... Let's eat first. I'm hungry. Okay. I tried to make some ambiguous remarks, but Carlo was still avoiding them. He didn't seem to want to talk about such things. If he didn't think so, why did he ask me to stay here alone with him in his seclusion? Carlos, what the hell are you thinking? You're so inscrutable right now. That's what I'm saying. Carlos, are you gonna dick my man down or not? The next few days seemed to be uneventful, except for reading, watching TV, and listening to music, and occasionally talking about work stuff. Of course, it's all about Carlos's work. Another week went by until Carlos got a phone call. He looked torn and helpless. Are you okay? I'm fine. What's wrong? You've just been distracted since you took that phone call. Nice. Carlos took a deep breath and turned sideways to face me. The room was so dark with the lights off that I could clearly see his face with the moonlight. I don't know what to say to you. You're my friend, aren't you? A friend? A friend, right? Yeah, we're friends. Okay, so what are you trying to say? We've known each other for so long and you still don't trust me? No, I trust you. That's why I wanted to come out to you. To be honest, I've had a great time these past few days. Although I rarely express it. I know. I find that we are a lot alike. We have similar personalities, interests. We're both not very good at expressing ourselves and always keep things to ourselves. Yeah, that's true. Kraus, has anyone told you that you have beautiful eyes? Huh? Carlos suddenly said this, which caught me a bit off guard. Was he complimenting me, or... yeah, my mom told me. Well, with that, Carlos slowly lifted his head toward my cheek. His fingers traced the tip of my brow, then my nose and my cheek, and finally his fingers rested on my earlobe. I slowly lifted my hand up and followed his lead, stroking his cheek, his hair, his ear. After a few more seconds, he slowly traced his fingers along my chin to my lips, and then flicked them with his fingers. I knew what might happen next. We both sensed it. But we stopped moving almost at the same time. Neither of us said anything, and we just looked at each other in silence. After a few moments, Carlos spoke up. It's late. Get some rest. Good night, Kraus. Good night, Carlos. Lame. That night, neither of us seemed to sleep, as if we were going to be separated tomorrow. We were facing each other just like that. When I closed my eyes, I felt him looking at me, and when I opened the eyes, Carlos was asleep. I didn't know when I fell asleep and woke up with Carlos sleeping in the crook of my arm. After a brief tidy-up, we went back to town together. He returned me to my residence and left. So far, I didn't see him again for another long time, but I didn't actively seek him out either. I seemed to have a premonition that something was happening, and that it was something that I couldn't interfere with. Oh no. Hey, did Frida hear? The mayor has announced his son's wedding. That was a rumor before. I heard it's a rich girl. Lilith suddenly opened the door and came in, seemingly without noticing my presence. Frida made an effort to give Lilith a wink when she noticed me. The wedding. Kraus, don't listen to her. So, is she telling the truth? Looks like you've known about it. Listen to me while I put on the sweater vest. That's how you know it's serious. When the sweater vest comes out, that's how you know it's serious. Frida gestured for Lilith to go back for a while, and Lilith didn't stay long. She turned around and went back to the bedroom. It's not like I didn't want to tell you, just that I didn't want to hurt you, seeing as you were so quick to open up to him. I know. I'm not mad at Frida. I know he's just doing what's best for me. Don't think about it. I know you and Carlos have a special relationship. No, no, no. I looked up and smiled at Frida and said we're just ordinary friends. Nothing happened between us. I'm sorry. I should have told you earlier. It's really okay, Frida. I appreciate it. Kraus. Maybe the amount of information I suddenly exposed was too much, and somehow my head suddenly hurt. I just felt a blur before my eyes and faded in front of Frida, and I can't remember what happened after that. Are you okay? Kraus? Sorry, maybe I just have a little blood sugar? Yeah, maybe. What did you say? Just now. I remember. It's okay. Since Carlos is getting married, I'll give him my blessing. Yeah, I'll bless him. I'll bless him. I will bless him. Okay. I don't know why, but I kept repeating the sentence, as if my mouth was not obeying me. After dinner, I locked myself in my room. Looking through the photos I had taken on our previous outings, I couldn't help but feel the tears flowing down my face. Hey, Kraus, you're an adult. It's no big deal. I kept saying the words to myself in an attempt to cheer myself up. Again and again, harder and harder. Thinking about when I was an adolescent, I had a crush on a senior for 3 years, and was finally rejected and beaten up. I survived that. Now this matter cannot defeat me. And we didn't even have that kind of relationship, which was good for everyone, so we were just friends. Just friends. Kraus. Suddenly feeling incredibly lonely and scared. How are you? What? Didn't you lock the door? Alright, whatever. Frida walked into the room at some point. Cry if you want to. You can cry on my shoulder. Remember, you used to cover me the same way when I was bullied. At that moment, Lilith came into the door with a glass of water. She placed the water on the bedside table and then sat down on the edge of the bed. I'm sorry. Before this, Frida and I discussed whether to tell you the truth or not. It's okay. Let's leave it at that. You deserve to be loved. Frida told me about you. Frida and I have talked about this. We will be your home from now on. There are plenty of empty rooms anyway. Thank you for your kind words. I thought about it, but I want to leave. Are you leaving again? You don't have to hold me back this time, Frida. I've thought it over. It's time for me to live alone again. To live for myself for once. Okay, I know it's useless to say anything now, but I respect your choice. Time flies. It's almost been a year since I came here. Don't worry, maybe I'll come back another time. No, I will come back to visit. You have to come back. I will make you good food. I mean, shit, that's good enough for me. I will. Thank you for everything you've done for me. It's good to have you. Before I left, I passed by the place. I was sad in my heart, seeing that there's still a lot of things left to do, but I had to leave again. It seems all the fantasies about this place have turned into bubbles. I really didn't know when I would be coming back here again. Goodbye, Carlos. It was nice to meet you. Aww. Kraus deserved better. After writing so much, no matter how I tried to phrase it, it was a good memory. Who didn't have someone special who didn't have some special secrets when they were younger? Perhaps only the dead night, alone in the covers, crying, do I remember the rest. After I left the town, I started a new life. I continued to hide myself, to protect myself, to not fall in love or date again. I knew it wasn't what I wanted, it wasn't what I could afford. I got a new job, and I saved up a lot of money under my own name. A few years went by. I bought my first house. It wasn't hard to buy a house here. It was harder to pay the mortgage. And for many years, it feels like I won't ever be able to pay the loan back until I die. A new environment and a fresh start. I met a new friend. Her name is Oliveria. Ever since she came out to her family, she suffered the same fate as me. But the only difference with me is that she's open-minded. And although she has a somewhat strong personality, she and I get along very well. How can I put it? Maybe it was fate. She and I became a couple. After things were a bit funny at times, we made it our reality. I really couldn't have imagined all that it took to decide on marriage was a few beers and a pizza. Can you imagine? Two drunk people hooking up and going to a church and just getting married. The both of us had some regret afterwards. I swear we didn't do anything sexual. Although we were living together, we were sleeping in separate rooms. Later I asked her why she married me, and she was straightforward about it. You're a good man. Unfortunately, I don't like men, but you're a male friend I like. Just simply like. Good friends kind of like. And you have your own house that I could live in and save a lot of money if I would marry you. Aren't you afraid to live here by yourself? Alone? How dangerous. When I heard those words from her, I cried and laughed. Although she was in the situation of convenience, in reality she did everything an equal partner would do. She also worked, but would be home early to make dinner. The weekend, we cleaned up the house, and the house was in order. As the days went by, we got used to each other's presence. Although I would occasionally contact Frida, I never once went back to that town. This life, and a long, long time, a few years, and the world is about to turn a new century. Suddenly, one day, Oliveria told me she was pregnant. I was very surprised. Obviously, she knew it was a separate room. Could she have a boyfriend? The day she told me the truth, and I really wanted to slap myself. She went and had an artificial insemination procedure using my... Before that, I went for physical examination and listening, by the way, because I knew maybe I would not have offspring, but it's possible to leave something by other means. It just so happened that the doctor and Olivia were friends, so it's a little hard to figure it out, but in the end, I accepted the reality and I forgave her. I don't want to go on about it, it's so humiliating. For the next few days, I asked her to quit her job and I'll handle all of her life in the future. At the same time, I'll give a part of my salary to Olivia, a kind of manly responsibility, the old-fashioned sense of stability. Aww, he looks so handsome. The next year, my child was born. He was adorable. I first told Frida about him, and at first Frida thought I was lying to him until I sent her a picture of my son. I also told my parents, who I hadn't seen in years, about the event and went back for a few times with the baby in Oliveria. I later learned that my parents didn't hate me, they just couldn't accept for a while, so they were angry. As a young man, I left in a fit of anger. My parents didn't give up on me. They searched for me for many years, but there'd been no news of me, and all the misunderstandings had been solved. Everything is going well. The child is slowly growing, so the child's needs are also changing. I work harder to earn money. I often wonder what Carlos would think if he knew I had a child. I didn't know if we would see each other again. Maybe he has a child too. It seemed like everything was on track, but life always likes to play tricks on you. That is true. Life is a funny thing. 2 years later, I remember it was a winter evening, less than a few days before Christmas. It was snowing heavily, and I had to walk home on foot because I missed the last bus. I passed the street corner and noticed some kids throwing rocks at the corner. I thought they were bullying stray animals and went to stop them. After I scared off the kids, I found out the corner where there was a child with red hair. He was sleeping in a cardboard box with a shrunken body, wearing only one-piece pajamas and no shoes. His body was freezing cold, but luckily his heartbeat was still there. I hurriedly took off my coat and picked up the child. I didn't think much about it. I carried him straight home. I just wanted to save him. The red-haired child had such a high fever, and I was alone because Oliveria had taken our child to a friend's house for a few days until Christmas, so it was up to me. I called in a personal doctor and had him see the child. Thankfully, the child was just frostburn and needed to be kept warm and given some fever reducers to get better. I stayed with him all night. I don't know why. I was afraid something would happen to him. I kept thinking how sad it would be if my child was sleeping on the street in the winter like this. Although the small child whom I didn't know, tears slowly flowed down from the corners of my eyes. After changing his dirty clothes, I realized that his name was fixed on them. Alex. The red-haired boy's name was Alex. I slept on my stomach all night and woke up again in an empty bed. Alex? Suddenly this loud bang from the kitchen. Hey, little guy, are you hungry? Alex didn't say anything, just kept stuffing bread in his mouth. I slowly approached, and Alex seemed worried of me. As soon as I took a step forward, he took a step back. I put my hands in the air and said, "There's milk in the refrigerator behind you." Alex looked at me for a second, and then turned and ran towards the refrigerator. Don't worry, I'm the one who found you. After hearing what I said, Alex immediately stopped with the food in his hands. Are you lost? No. Baby Alex is such a Chad. So you can talk. I'm just hungry. I'll leave on my own later. His sweet little voice, coupled with serious expressions, was really cute. Don't worry. You can stay. It's safe here. If you need help, you can come to me. Alex looked me up and down for a minute, and then continued to turn his head and nibble on his bread. I turned my head back to the bedroom and took a box off the counter. After he had eaten and drunk enough, he suddenly ran to my bedroom. Thank you, but I'll be leaving soon. Where are you going? Don't worry, I won't drag you into my mess. Little man, why do you talk like an adult? Don't underestimate children. I was the exact same way when I was a child. If it wasn't for your red hair, I might think you're my kid. I don't need parents, and I don't want parents. I am who I am. Bring me some clothes, and I'll go. Where are you going? Don't worry about it. What a little shithead. So cute. I don't have anything for you to wear here. I'll just have to go and get you some clothes, if you're willing to wait. Okay, I'll wait. And with that, Alex stepped to the side. I smiled, got up, put on my jacket, and went out. When I came back, I found the little guy was gone. Alex? Alex? Don't yell. I thought you'd left. Alex didn't say anything as he grabbed the clothes out of my hand and put them on himself. I don't know why I listened to him. I actually agreed to buy him a new set of clothes without even thinking about it. Usually I can't afford to spend a penny on anything except my own family. All afternoon, Alex stood in the corner of the house, and once the sound of sirens passed by, he'd quietly lean out the window and peek out. He was seemingly on the run from something. I figured out what was going on. It took me a lot of patience to gain Alex's trust. I decided to let him stay here for the time being. Alex grew up in an orphanage, and he had been adopted 3 times, but each time he had found a way to escape. His previous adopted parents were cruel to Alex and sometimes beat him. From his description, it seems that those adults were just using him as a punching bag. Some of the adopters had had other children in their homes who would laugh and bully Alex just because he was a ginger. The red-headed, soulless monster. I've seen the injuries on his back and arms, and it's hard to imagine what he's been through. I was really shocked by what Alex went through, especially when he told me how he planned his escape. I couldn't imagine how a young child of just a few years old could go through all this. I couldn't ask anything else but these things. About his name, he said, ever since he could remember, he only remembered that his name was Alex. He didn't even have a last name. It was at that moment that I wanted to adopt him. I wanted to keep him with me. He was so pathetic, I couldn't help but want to protect him. Over the next few days, I told Alex what I thought, and he agreed. But he had one condition. Leave here, anywhere. Just not here. It was so cold here, and his heart felt like it was on the edge of freezing. He didn't want to stay here. Here was only painful memories. I suddenly took notes of his thoughts and promised him that I'd find him a warm place. It was also this time that brought me back to that place again. The place that used to make me happy and shed tears. At the same time, because of the incident, Oliveria and I quarreled. As far as I can remember, since Oliveria and I were married, we have never quarreled, but this time, Oliveria chose divorce. I was sad about this for a long time. I thought it was because I adopted Alex, but the day after the divorce, I received a letter that Olivia left me. Suddenly, a picture slipped out of the pages of the books. Is that Mom? When she left me, I was too young. The memories that had been blurred now were starting to clear up. Wow, dear Kraus, she's hot. My husband, by the time you see this letter, perhaps I will love the country. Don't feel guilty yet, it's not because of your adoption of Alex. In fact, I've been planning the divorce for a long time. I will always remember that you're the only one who stood up to come for me when I was in trouble. Do you remember? It was an autumn morning. Then later you helped me pay off my debts, helped me quit smoking, helped me to start over. I really appreciate you, but I don't know how to repay you. Until one day I inquired about you from a doctor friend. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to invade your privacy. My friend discouraged me, but I still decided to do it. After all, we both knew we wouldn't be married for life, but neither of us wanted to be the first to ask. I didn't want to leave you alone. The day in the future we are separated, you're not having a person by your side, not even someone to talk to makes you sad. Until now, I need the opportunity to come, and I wanted to be free to pursue it. I remember you told me about the memories of that coastal town. Maybe this time you'll be able to say to that person the words you've rehearsed for a long time. You should pursue your own happiness, and likewise, I will too. I won't hide myself anymore. I'm glad you found a brother for our child and he won't be bullied with Alex there to protect him. I'm leaving. I hope this is the last time you hear from me. Sorry, I thought long and hard about it, and I'm sorry in advance since my child I'm not a qualified mother. Maybe in the future I'll explain everything to them. Finally, I wish you happiness. I love you and the child. Oliveria. After reading Oliveria's letter, I was silent for a long time. I didn't know how to continue. This trip wasn't suitable for me to take my son with me, so I left him with my parents and let them take care of him for a while. I packed some bags and went to that town with Alex. What would it be like to meet Carlos again? The trip didn't really go well. Alex was super hyper, so I thought I was going to sell him off. Almost made people think I was a human trafficker. Just thinking about it, no wonder people mistook me for a trafficker. Obviously, he's a redhead. Anyway, we finally arrived safe. Why was the traffic here not changed? And after all these years, this bus still won't drive directly into town. We can only wait here for the passing cars. It seems that even after 20 years, nothing here's changed. Still doubting me? You're really naggy. I'm your father now. Anyway, you have to respect me too, right? Ha ha ha. What? I hope you'll take good care of your brother in the future. I'll definitely teach him a lesson. You kid, why are you always so hard to talk to? Alright, I get it. Alex, what? Actually, I have an idea. What? You said it directly. Maybe I will have a little time for you in the future. Will you hate me? I'll have little time for you in the future. Yes. Huh? Are you so sure? I won't hate you. Then, if one day I forget about you, what should I do? I'll make you think of me. Then, what if I don't tell your brother that you still exist in the world as a brother? Then I won't be able to protect him. Will you protect him? Promise you. Pops. Thank you. Call me Pops. It's the first time in a long time you called me. Finally stopped calling me by my first name. You're too noisy. I've thought about it. You should keep it a secret from my brother about my existence. What? Don't tell him I exist as a brother just yet. I just said it casually. Don't take it seriously. I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. You know, I don't want to... Alright, I promise. Do you know what I want to say? I'm sure you have your own ideas. Thank you. Oh, there's a car coming. The magical car. The fateful car. Is this your son? Red hair. Me too. Hey, stop kidding around. How can your son be a redhead? And your son is only 2 years old? Well, he's my adopted son. It scared the hell out of me. Are you the only one home? Where's Zilla? She's out on a trip with our son. By the way, I have to tell you something. The orphanage has been built, and I haven't told you about it because I've been too busy. You know, I've always had this idea. An orphanage? Where'd you get the money? Well... It's not going to cost a lot to build this. It's going to cost a lot to build this. Tell me honestly. You should be able to guess. The money was donated in your name. In my name? I think. I probably knew. It was him. Is he doing okay? About that. I'm not really sure. The year after you left, he got married. So, does he have kids? It's a bit strange to say this, but he was married for a long time without having children. His first child was born 4 years ago, and the second child was a girl. 2 kids. That's nice. Huh? 4 years ago? It's been almost 10 years since I left. Why? I heard he had a busy work schedule. I just heard that the family's industry is getting stronger and stronger. Not only here, but in other cities. Speaking of which, the kid's name is Benson. He's about the same age as this redhead of yours. So, is the father still the mayor of the town? His father retired and passed away 2 years ago. I heard he had some kind of illness. Now the new mayor of the town is none other than him. Carlos is already the mayor? Then his son is going to end up being a mayor too. Why do you say that? Just a guess. He must be an obnoxious brat. Wow. Hopefully you two end up to be good friends. No chance. You're a funny little guy. We should talk more about this later. So, what are you doing back here? This boy, my son, has special needs, so I wanted to live here temporarily. So he can live with the other kids in the orphanage? After Alex heard the orphanage, he gave me a hard stare and said, after all these roundabouts, he ended up dumping me in an orphanage. Hey, it's not that. I'm not leaving you at an orphanage. Rita? I'll think of something else. What else is there that I don't know about? Oh, there's an empty lot outside of town by the sea. What, an open space? You don't remember? It was given to you by Carlos. Come to think of it, he left a sum of money before he left and said that if you ever came back, he would use the money to build a house on that vacant lot. Did he really say that? I can't ask for his money. I'll take it. Karina and I simultaneously turned our attention to the redhead boy, who was only 4 years old. I'm short on money. I want my own house. You promised me as much. I think he's right. No. Liar. Alex kicked me hard on the foot and grabbed the door. Hey, wait. Okay. Okay, I promise you I'll use the money to build the house. Sounds like you two are having boring crap to go over. I'll go find some food. I'm hungry. After that, Alex walked to the kitchen and started rummaging for food. Wow, that little man is all kinds of fun. Love it. Maybe he can stay here for a while. Aren't you going to stay here? I have another little one at home. Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Maybe after I get the house finished, I'll leave Alex in your care. No problem. Don't worry. I'll treat him like my own kid. As long as he's okay with it. I'll tell him every detail. He's a smart kid. Maybe a bit too smart. Hey, am I forgetting something? Yeah, just now you said Carlos left us some money before he departed, but where did he go? Carlos? Of course. Who else but him? He really came home in the last few years. He's always busy with work. He wasn't sure when he'd be back. That's why he left the money with me. So, okay, I see. Then I'll prepare dinner today. Welcome home. but they're gonna see each other. They're gonna see each other. In the next few days, Rita helped find people from the farm to start planning for the construction of the house. In my free time, I would wander around the town and look for some memories of the past. When I passed by the cafe, I stopped. I was hesitant to go in when a voice called out to me. Is it the barista? Yeah, Max. Hey, it's you. Hey, it's been a long time. It's been a long time indeed. More than 10 years, right? Yeah, it's been a while. Aren't you gonna come in? I was just about to go in. Your usual? It was looking around. The place hadn't changed at all, except for some appliances and the countertops. This place is still reassuring. Are you sure you're still working as a waiter? Me? I bought the place out. Bought it? Yeah, I thought it was a nice place, so I bought it. Wow, that's a surprise. Well, it's only a month's worth of my trust fund. Pocket money? 1 month? Yeah, I was just looking for a place to experience life, but I didn't think the owner suddenly didn't want to run it anymore, so I just bought it. Wow. Woohoo! This is also, what a surprise. I thought, don't make too many surprise noises. What about you? Me? I haven't changed much. Are you married? Yes, already married, but divorced. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. Has anything changed in the last few years? This town, or... What's the big news? Changes. Mr. Carlos has become the new mayor of the town. So, is it a son taking over from his father? No, he's still holding on to ownership, I guess. At least the town is not the same now as it was before. By the way, for a long time after you left here, Mr. Carlos has come back here and sat in the same corner we always sat. Oh, yeah. By the way, speaking of which, I remember something. What? It's about the Carlos family. The family? Remember, the first time you met, it was here. Yeah, I'll always remember. Always remember. I remember. It seems a little long after that time that his father's company was going bankrupt and owed a lot of money. Although he was the mayor of the town, he could not embezzle government money, you know? It's legal. Hearing that, I got a little uneasy. Although many years had passed, but I was still a little worried. And then? I heard that it was settled, though. Through marriage? Marriage? What do you mean? It's strange to say, but in those days, people had always had some unbelievable practices. Here, Max looked around for a moment and whispered in my ear. To put it simply, Carlos' father arranged the marriage. The woman's family is very rich, you know, just like in those movies. Both Carlos and his current wife were actually just bargaining chips for their fathers to negotiate. After Carlos got married, he started to reorganize the family business and spent years slowly paying off the debts all his father owed, and then slowly expanded his own company business. He should now be opening new companies in other cities. Oh, that's right. They're still known as the most important family around here, but it's just a name. Sometimes I don't know how to put it. I laughed a little to myself. Suddenly all the mysteries of the past are solved. No wonder Carlos was so careful and reserved. It was all so... So after that he disappeared for a while. For his own reasons? Maybe. He was hurting. After all, his life was completely defined by how he could be used. But with me, I wouldn't be reduced to a pawn in someone else's chess game. And how do you know these things? I heard it from my father. Your father? How can I put it? My family is kinda, well, we're rich. Old money. But not the kind, you know, has to fight to keep it. We're very open-minded. Okay, I get it. Wow, that's amazing to hear such news. Shh, keep it down. Not many people know. Okay, I'll keep it quiet. So, how long do you plan to stay this time? I don't know, maybe until the house is finished. After all, I have a young son at home. Well then, you're building a house. Seems like you're contemplating staying here. I don't know yet. Maybe. I'll think about it. Well, I'll go ahead and get busy. See you later. Get busy, you shall. Bow chicka bow wow. Where have you been today? Oh, fuck me. I keep doing this. Just wandering around reminiscing about the past. Well, I was thinking, how about we build a garden behind the house? You could plant some flowers? I remember I used to study gardening. I did, but I've probably forgotten all about it. That's okay, I'll introduce you to a professional. Okay, I'll think about it. What's wrong with you today? Shouldn't you be in a good mood? Maybe. Maybe I'm just too tired today. I've walked a lot. Well, get some rest then. We have to start working again tomorrow. Okay. And that explains the little garden in the back of the house. It's cute. These days I've been thinking about all those things Mac told me about Carlos. This is so-called fate? We're doomed not to get the life we want. Carlos must be suffering too. And now, it's all over now. Oh, I have to move on. The rest of the day was spent on the building the house. 1 day, 2 days, 1 month, 2 months. Finally, in 6 months, the house was built. I need to get Extreme Home Makeover there, get it built in a day, you know? I have to go back. My parents have called several times to rush me. My little son is always clamoring to see his father. My responsibilities are calling me back. After arranging another visit, I entrusted Alex to Frida's care, or maybe it was the other way around, and I prepared to leave the place. I wasn't surprised that I haven't seen Carlos in the past 6 months. In fact, it's better if we didn't meet. I was really worried about meeting him. It would be an awkward scene with the truths I carry. The day before I left, I suddenly thought of a place, the secret house in the woods. The house that harbored precious memories for me and Carlos. Was it still there? Curiously, I went back to the place by myself. The wooden balcony is still there, bringing back memories of Carlos laying out in the sun. Carlos's car is parked next to it. This is where Carlos was chopping wood with one hand. I remember us sitting by the fire, grilling kebabs together. I remembered everything. I stood in the open space in front of the house and watched it all. I don't know when, but tears streamed down my cheeks. I tried to hold myself back from crying, and apparently I'd failed. Maybe I should go. I should go. Hi. Oops. Well, long time no see. Long time no see. Yeah, it's been too many years since we last saw each other. How are you doing? I'm fine. Man, just fuck already. Shit. I heard you already have kids, too. One is an adopted son. I heard about that. Well, I too have children, a boy and a girl. That's great. Congratulations. After a few simple conversations, we were both silent and just looked at each other. The feeling went back into time, that time in the gardens, when everything around us seemed to stop. You just left like that. You didn't even say goodbye to me. Carlos's eyes began to redden. His tears were welling up in his eyes. Even his speech began to tremble. You never called, and I didn't even know how you spent your Christmas, how you spent your birthday, I wanted to know everything about you. Are we still even friends? Friends. Yes, we are friends. I wiped my tears away with my sleeves and then squeezed out a smile with all my might. Friends. So, how's your family, your wife, your children? Yeah, we're very close, very much the model family, and I love my children a lot. This is my life, the life that passed me by. Carlos, I heard about you. Yeah, well, my wife and I both know each other's secrets. She has a guy on the side, and I have. She was always in love with a farmer, but her parents forbade them to fall in love. Just like me, I couldn't be with the person I liked. We both know this isn't our ideal life. We just try to keep this charade going. It's such a ridiculous time. I know it's silly. No, Carlos, never blame yourself for this. But I'm glad. I'm glad I met you. I'm glad to see you again, and I really appreciate it. Me too. Thank you for funding Frida's orphanage and the family home. I lived on my savings for us. For you. Carlos points in the direction of the house. I've been hiding money under the floor of the kitchen to keep it from the business. Really? I always used to think there's something wrong with the kitchen floor. It was always creaking. It's good to see you. Carlos leaned in and gave me a hug. I missed you too. I wiped Carlos' tears away with his hand, petting him. You've aged and got some handsome wrinkles. You too. Life is hard for us family men, right? True. We shared some things with each other since I left, and occasionally talked about things we did in the past when we were together. Just like before, talking about everything. We spoke like friends who'd been apart for many years, just wanting to be with each other at this moment. Are you leaving tomorrow? Yeah. That's how I met for the first time, when you were about to leave. Yeah. Are you gonna stay? Carlos, listen to me. I get it. Carlos patted me on the shoulder and then smiled and said, you'll come back more often, right? And we'll still be the same as before, talking, going for walks together, watching the sunrise. I was silent. I didn't dare to answer Carlos. The question was too heavy. I was suddenly too timid to make any response. I was afraid that it would be like before, although I know the truth about the past, but it's all too late. We're no longer as reckless as we used to be. We all have our own lives. I keep telling myself, maybe. It's time to let go. I know the choice. It's hard. But I spoke up anyway. Carlos, there's no going back. Let the past just stay there. Carlos's body suddenly stiffened for a moment after hearing this. After a while, he continued. I thought, yeah, this is our life. I guess it's just destined to be like that. Carlos took a deep breath and slowly stood up. Yeah, it's over. It's all my fault. If I just stop it. Carlos. Take care of yourself from now on. Don't work too hard. Carlos. Remember to eat on time. Don't stay up late. You must live well. You must. At least, don't die before me. I'll no longer have someone to hang on to hope for. I'll be lonely. Carlos, I'm sorry. Promise me this. It's my only request. Live well and be happy. I promised you. I'll leave this town for a while. Maybe a year, maybe a few years. Where are you going? Maybe it's time for me to keep my mind busy for a while. Time for someone to say goodbye. I don't want to, but goodbye, Kraus. Aw, such a tragic ending. Is this the end of it? The words. If I don't say the words now, I'll regret it. Carlos, if the day we first met, if I'd offered to go out with you, would you have agreed? Carlos didn't answer. He wiped his tears with his sleeve and walked out of the forest. Before I left here, I still got the courage to invite him to the celebration party after the new house was completed. I thought he wouldn't come, but thankfully he came. We had a picture taken before, but only with the participation of other people. But this time, the only time in years, we took a picture of just the two of us together. It was also the only one. We both gave up. Gave up on this last chance. This may be the last moment. It's true that I never saw Carlos again, and although I'd come here every holiday to spend time with Alex, I always felt like something was missing. Even though Carlos was no longer here, seeing Carlos' son Benson made me feel close to Carlos. I knew Carlos was determined to move past our special relationship this time. It was time for me to let go too. Benson and Alex became friends, just like we did back then. Of course, I also hoped that one day my youngest would also become Benson's friend. I took the liberty of changing Alex's birthday to say as Benson's, perhaps in some attempt to make them brothers, my son and my stepson. Or maybe it was just as simple as this. I didn't actually know the day Alex's birthday was, and neither did he. At this point, it's time for my story to end. I don't know what the future holds, at least. When I open this diary again, I will think of that winter, that warm afternoon, the scene of our first meeting. So many things happened back then. My father never talked about it. So father experienced love. So was this letter ever mailed to Uncle Carlos? Well, maybe. Father, there's a letter left for you. Maybe you should read it. Carlos took the letter from Benson's hand and fell into deep thought, taking his time before replying. This is not the letter your father left for me, but the letter I didn't send. Is it a letter you wrote to our father? Yes, there's some things I couldn't say in person, so I chose a more traditional way. Unfortunately, he'll never be able to read it. I wrote this after I separated from that night in the park. It's just that he left and this letter never reached him again. We've all read his journal. Yeah, the diary. Uncle Carlos took the diary from Alex and slowly opened it with somewhat shaky hands, just flipped through a few pages and closed it. So do you want to see what's written in it? I've already read it. I put the suitcase in your attic, believing that one day you'd really be able to understand these truths. I didn't want to take these secrets to the grave. Uncle Carlos looked at the three of us and then continued. Children, your fathers have had their youth just like you. We have also had our own past. We were too young. We were young too. Even if we could only see each other once a day, we would have been satisfied with the rest of our lives. Back then, we were the same age as you are now. It's just that in those days, not everyone's life was under their control. I confessed my heart to my mother, but their own children can't fall in love traditionally like that, so they also feel ashamed, I guess. Is loving someone something to be ashamed of? Some parents always worry that their children are different from other children. I think it's the inability to love someone that makes you feel ashamed. I really envy you guys. I have a lot to say to Kraus, but you can't hear anything. If only I'd been a little braver. Uncle Carlos looked at the diary in his hand and looked out the window. It's been so many years, and you still haven't promised me to live well. Uncle Carlos leaned back on the sofa, his eyes looking at the distant clouds, seemingly back to the days he first met with his father. The three of us looked at each other for a moment, then got up and left the place, leaving Uncle Carlos alone in the room. What he needed now was some quiet solitude with his thoughts. It turned out that I was the one who asked my father not to tell you about my existence. How did I forget? Maybe you just said it casually at the time, but your father took it seriously. Father really trusted you. So, what do you guys think? The feeling of these fathers, pure and simple. This is the kind of relationship that many people envy nowadays, but this is fate, right? I want to cry so much. I'm kidding, yeah. Alex laughed awkwardly, and then his eyebrows began to furrow and tears began to well up in the corner of his eyes. Hey, Alex. Wow. Alex suddenly burst out crying. I want to cry too. What? We have to be together, forever. You know that. I was thinking how crushed I'd be if I lost either of you. Stop it. Do you have any idea how much pressure Father must have been under the future of his company? So, what did Uncle Carlos write in that letter? Alex and Ben stopped crying at the same time and looked at each other. Yeah, what was in the letter? Hello, Kraus. I didn't want my life to be written by my own father, so I wrote this little note. After I met you for the first time, I sprouted a hope for tomorrow. For you, I want to become a braver person than the person I was yesterday. For you, I will no longer hide in humility. I will not let go of your hand until I die. I will be brave enough to face what will happen in the future. I've given up on everything I had here to be with you. I used all my savings to buy a vacant lot on the outskirts of town, which, if nothing else, will be our home. I don't know what will happen in the future. Maybe I'll be kicked out of the house, disowned, but I made my decision, love. I hope you will not refuse me. Sorry I was so shy, so I've been looking forward to I'm looking forward to you asking me out. I will definitely say yes. In fact, I wanted to hear those words when I first saw you at the cafe, and I'm sorry it took me so long to say them to you. I just hope that the day doesn't come too late. I'll be waiting for you at the cafe at our usual spot. I love you. C. I often see you in my dreams, but I can't always say it. I can only watch you and I pass by. I'm sorry I let you down, Mr. Carlos. But I wanted to live without seeing you. To see you living well, my heart will be at ease. You say it's destiny, you say it's your own fault, but anyway, it's like this. In this life, our fate was too thin, and I'm to blame for not being blessed. Next life, I hope we meet earlier. I hope I can marry you. So precious. How wonderful, how wholesome, how amazing. Alright guys, I would like to thank each and every one of you. I know most of you also enjoy Uncle Neighbor. I will be buying his Uncle Office when it does come out, so please look forward to that. Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. It really encourages me to keep making videos. But I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!